Hello, I'm Shaun Attwood of National Geographic Channel's TV Banged Up Abroad, here today answering questions about strip searches following on YouTube from my original strip search video. And the first question is,
what happened during your very first strip search?
my very first strip search was at Tempe Police Station. I was in civilian clothes. I was extracted from a holding cell. I was taken into a small room with no windows, with one guard, and he just told me to get completely naked. So I took all my clothes off, put them to the side of the cell, and he then told me to stand up, face him, raise my arms, and he looked in my ears, and I had to fold my ears as well. He looked in my mouth. I had to open my mouth, raise my tongue. He looked in my armpits, and then he looked lower down my body. I had to raise my man parts, and he also told me to pull my foreskin back, and I was quite surprised when he said that. But he said there could be drugs in there, people do store drugs in there, so I had to get on with that. And then I had to turn around, bend over, spread my buttocks, and cough. And while I was doing that, he was looking at my buttocks to see if I had anything stored inside me. Contraband is what prisoners store inside them, and that includes drugs, syringes, cash, shanks, razor blades. Some people even store mobile phones inside their bodies as well. So that's what the purpose of the strip search is.
Okay, what was said?
Well, during the strip search, the guard, he gives you commands throughout the entire thing. So he'll say, raise your arms, he'll say, open your mouth, he'll say, fold your ears forward, he'll say, raise your man parts, and so on and so on and so on. You basically just stand there and do exactly what he says.
And what went through your head?
Going through my head was, I understood that it was a procedure necessary for security and for the detection of drugs, but to get completely naked in front of someone, it's humiliating at first, and it's embarrassing as well, especially when he tells you to pull your foreskin back and you're stood there holding your man parts, and a guy's checking that part of you out. It's not something that I was used to in my life, and it takes a lot of getting used to over time before you are finally used to it. And also again, turning around, bending over, spreading your buttocks, and having someone crouch down and look in your backside to see if you've got anything stored in there, also equally embarrassing and humiliating, but I did understand it was part of the procedure, and I put myself in jail, so I'm not trying to whine about this.
Where did the search happen?
That first search was at Tempe Police Station, and I was only there for a day. My next 26 months I spent on remand in the in the Maricopa County Jail in Phoenix, Arizona, run by Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and my strip searches after that came in the Arizona Department of Corrections.
Okay, so you obviously went through quite a few strip searches during your incarceration. Under what type of scenario did you find yourself strip searched?
You get strip searched if you're going to a visit with your family members, and if they suspect your family members are smuggling drugs in, they can also, if they have probable cause, they can strip search your family members who are coming in as well. Now, 90% of the guys were shooting up heroin and crystal meth, so a lot of family members were smuggling drugs into the prison. They bring them in wrapped in plastic, and maybe they'd bring a baby to visitation. The drugs would be in the baby's nappy, diaper, and then prisoners distract the guards in visitation, and while the guards are distracted, the visitor extracts the drugs, passes them under the table to the prisoner, and the prisoner shoves them in his behind. And that's called keistering. That was the name for it in Arizona, in the prison system. Other scenarios include when you're going to work. If you say you've got a job in the kitchen, a lot of people steal food, so you'll be strip searched when you're coming home from the kitchen job, but the prisoners get around that by passing the food to their friends when they come and eat the food in the chow hall. Other scenarios, if you are going to be escorted to out of the facility, for example, to a hospital, or if you're being transported to another prison, Always when you get transported to another prison, usually strip searched on the way out of the prison, and you usually strip searched on the way into prison as well, into the new prison.
Okay, were the strip searches ever at random?
Yes, there are random drug tests, and there are random strip searches, and there are random shakedowns of cells. So if they suspect that a lot of drugs are in a certain building, the guards will come en masse, stormtrooper style, into all of the cells. They'll get everybody naked, they'll do the strip searches, and they'll tear the cells apart as well, looking for drugs.
Did the strip searches differ in how they went down or in what they made you do?
The strip searches did differ. For example, if a guard was just strip searching me on my own, he might take his time and do a real thorough search. If a guard's in a hurry and he's got about 30 guys to search, he might get them all in a room and get them all to strip and then line them all up with, bent over with the buttocks spread, and just go down the row looking at everybody's backside to see if they've got any drugs in there. And the thing is as well, the guys smuggling those drugs in, the mules, they pride themselves on how many packages they can store inside themselves without peeking out during these strip searches. So it's pretty much ineffective. Arizona used to have what's called a finger wave, where a guard would actually put a rubber glove on and put one of his rubber gloved fingers into the inmate's anus to see if they had any drugs in the anal cavity or any weapons. But that got ruled a violation of human rights, and it got made illegal, and the guards couldn't do that anymore. A lot of guards got in trouble as well for sexually molesting prisoners and raping prisoners during those finger wave procedures.
So were some strip searches more thorough than others?
Definitely some strip searches were more thorough. If a guard had plenty of time, or if it was a guard who really enjoyed strip searching you, he would really have you stood there with your foreskin pulled back for quite a long time while he crouched down and examined it. And also when you had your buttocks spread, they would say you're not spread enough, you need to spread your buttocks wider. And some of them, I think, got off on just humiliating you in that position.
And did they differ from jail to jail?
They did differ. The remand jail was really busy, and especially at visitation, where they had like 40, 50 guys. They were trying to strip search them at one time, and some of the guards, they didn't really care that much for strip searches. So they just get everyone in a room, and then the guard would be stood at the door, and as he came out of the room, each prisoner, he'd just say, drop your boxers and spin. And what you had to do was just raise your man parts, spin around, open your buttocks, and you take a quick look, and then you just got off back to your housing unit. Versus in the prison system, they were a lot more thorough about the strip searches. They wouldn't give you a cursory one at all.
Okay, and did you find it worse to have a strip search in a group of inmates or individually?
Well, when you get in strip search with a group of inmates, it is embarrassing. Everyone's checking everyone out, and a lot of people are making jokes and trying to make light of the situation and stuff like that. And the smell as well can be pretty awful. Out in Arizona, where it's almost 50 degrees in the summer, everybody's just stinking, and you can imagine 10, 20 guys with the buttocks spread. The smell from the crotch is not something that's very appetizing.
And did they employ different techniques with group searches and make you do things differently?
Yeah, with group searches, they did employ different techniques. Like I mentioned earlier, a guard would perhaps go down the line of everybody with their buttocks spread and look at them individually while another guard was watching over everybody to see if everybody's kept under control. It really depended upon how many guards were there to supervise it, and whether they were in a hurry or not, as to whether they were going to put everyone through a maximum strip search.